All right, I've been scouting out the pawpaws in the vicinity of Madison, Wisconsin. So at the northern, northwestern tip of their range, right, expected where one of the areas where their range can expand to the north, we can do a little bit of assisted migration. And not to mention it's just in general having a resurgence, and we could probably swing it here in Wisconsin. So at the UW Arboretum, Longnecker Garden, they've got bunch of specimens. So I just wanted to add to the data pool of which varieties, which cultivars are succeeding in this northern part. We're still in 5A or B here in Madison, right on the boundary of it getting colder. Pretty similar to the Ontario hardiness zone map where there's transitions from 5 to 4 right around here. And there's another batch at Camrock Park near Cambridge, which is 20 miles to the east of here. And there's also a really thick one by itself in the town of Cambridge that they've hacked to death, and I'll show you some pictures in the future, but they don't have anything to go with it to produce fruit. So I'd love to get some fruit, but you can't take it from the Arboretum here. And they might just be getting their first one ever on one of these specimens, so I just wanted to go around. So this big one, they first planted in 2017 is what they said. It looks like they planted some more. So let me show you. So this is a susquehana, a Neil Peterson cultivar. My guess is this was 2017. Looks good. And any rooting pups? Maybe one. This one, really nice. It's also susquehana. And look, it's got fruit. The only one. Oh no, this one is Shanendoah. So Shanendoah is the only one that's got fruit. It's very tall. This one's susquehana. It looks pretty good. This one is also susquehana. It's probably 12 feet tall, 15 feet tall. Susquehana. No fruit on this though, even though it's the biggest. And this one here is Pennsylvania Golden. And this is NC1. So some of the sources you can get, well, Rick Larson, who's also in Wisconsin, has discussed Jerry Lehman's cultivars, like Maria's Joy, as the ones he likes from up here. But other sources cite NC1 and Pennsylvania Golden as good, I think it's early ripening ones. And Susquehanna and Shanendoah, I don't recall seeing those on this list. But I recall them being on the list of delicious ones. So the only tree that's got fruit on it over here is the Shanendoah. And really nice looking fruits. This is the only fruit, so it's not producing a ton yet. Yeah, Shanendoah. Now, does this one have suckers? Let's see. I don't see suckers. Maybe somebody else could see them, but I don't see them on this one. But on this one, which doesn't have a cultivar named, has one really nice rooting pup, another one right here. So at least two out of this one, maybe more. This Susquehanna has a pup coming out. Any pups here to explain the lack of growth from this NC1? You know, signaling that the main root body had a little difficulty. Pennsylvania Golden. Yeah, I don't see any rooting suckers on this one yet, but it could just be new. And how about on the NC1? supposedly the most cold hardy variety. Alright, I don't see any on the MC1. It's looking strong though. So, yeah, I'd like to add to the gene pool up here. I ordered some native stock or some native seeds from Ohio. Is one, that's all that's available. Not even stratified seeds at this point in the year in September. And two, because I like the idea of not just bringing improved genetics into this new area, but bringing long-standing genetics, tried and true methods, and with the idea of creating a stable population up here, right, that sustains itself, and plant them in proximity with the improved cultivars, and sure they'll be mixing. And people like to say, there's very little heritability of your good traits, and they're probably right about that. But getting a big orchard going and getting wild rootstock in to then attach your cuttings to, as a way for that is obviously the way people do it. So I see them as compatible options right now, and maybe a really great use case right when there's very limited supply for the amount of demand right now. Every good Pawpaw genetics is sold out right now, basically, and they're hard to get, and the prices are pretty high, and so at this moment when we have really high demand and limited supply is the right time in the market life cycle to sustain high input costs. So what does that mean for me? It means, well, hey, maybe this is a great use case for the capital intensive outdoor dual root zone system, dual root zone aeroponics, where you have a tree in the ground, you do your best to foster a really healthy soil environment and soil root zone, and by one means or another you connect that root system to an aeroponic root system, which may be a trench or maybe an above ground thing, and right, you just need to dig up your roots or train them to grow in there. And if you're talking about 50% more growth per year, for all that equipment needed, right, to make that extra growth possible, maybe this market can sustain it. So God, these trees are just so inspiring now. I mean, I don't know, well, for one, they go well in oak hickory forests, and that's where I grew up in. And we've got all these massive, pretty good secondary forest, and they would go great there, right? And they have a lot of great traits, like relatively resistant to deer browse and things like that. Not to mention they produce fruit, right? So they're right up there with how awesome black walnuts and acorns are, and hickory nuts and all those things that these trees can produce. But it's also experiencing this new life cycle, market life cycle. So there's some opportunity. All right. Hope you found this data useful about northern pawpaw range.